Imagine you're drowning in a sea of to-do lists. You've tried every productivity hack, Pomodoro, bullet journals, apps that scream at you. But you're still exhausted. What if I told you the ultimate secret is to do nothing? Not lazy nothing. Not procrastination. But a deep, intentional nothing that changes everything. That's the heart of Taoist philosophy. Today, we're diving into the wisdom of Laozi, Zhuangzi, and Liezi to uncover a hack so counterintuitive, it might just save your life. Ever noticed how the most frantic people get the least done? Here's the truth, nature doesn't rush. The river flows without effort. The tree grows without struggle. So why are you fighting? Let's start by questioning everything you know about productivity. What if the most productive thing you can do is stop? Consider the story of a famous painter who, when asked how he created his masterpieces, said he simply stared at a blank canvas until the image revealed itself. He didn't force the brush, he waited for inspiration to flow. This is the essence of Wu Wei, the art of allowing rather than forcing. When you stop, you create space for clarity. The frantic energy of your daily grind often masks the simple solutions that are right in front of you. By pausing, you give your mind a chance to reset, to see the bigger picture. It's like cleaning a dusty window, suddenly the world outside becomes clear. So, take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let go of the need to do everything at once. This is the first step toward a new way of being, where productivity is not about busyness but about alignment with the natural flow of life. Let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was working on a complex project at my job. I was buried in spreadsheets, emails, and deadlines. The more I pushed, the more mistakes I made. One afternoon, I felt so overwhelmed that I just stopped. I went outside, sat on a bench, and watched the clouds drift by. For 10 minutes, I did nothing. When I returned, the solution to a problem that had stumped me for days suddenly appeared in my mind. That moment taught me that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is step away. The painter, the window, the clouds, they all point to the same truth: stillness is the gateway to clarity. In ancient China, scholars would often retreat to the mountains to meditate before making important decisions. They understood that the mind, when crowded with thoughts, cannot see the path ahead. By emptying the mind, they allowed wisdom to surface. So, as you sit here today, consider what you might be missing because you're too busy to stop. The next time you feel frantic, try this: set a timer for 5 minutes, close your eyes, and focus only on your breath. Let the thoughts come and go like leaves on a stream. When the timer ends, notice how you feel. You might be surprised at the calm that follows. This is not a waste of time, it's an investment in your productivity. Remember, the river doesn't hurry, yet it reaches the ocean. You can too. Here's the counterintuitive insight: doing nothing isn't about laziness, it's about alignment. In Taoism, this is called Wu Wei, or effortless action. It's not inaction, it's action that flows like water. Water never forces its way through a rock, it goes around it. And yet, over time, it carves canyons. You've been trained to believe that more effort equals more results. But that's a lie. The harder you push, the more resistance you create. Think about a time you tried to fall asleep. The more you tried, the more awake you became. But when you let go, sleep came naturally. That's Wu Wei. Laozi said, "The Tao does nothing, yet nothing is left undone." This isn't a paradox, it's a blueprint. When you stop forcing, you tap into a power greater than your ego. You become like a leaf in the wind, moving with perfect precision. So, what if you could achieve more by doing less? What if your biggest breakthrough comes from surrender? Let me give you a historical example. In ancient China, there was a general named Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War. One of his key teachings was to win without fighting. He believed that the best victory was one that required no battle at all. He would study the terrain, the weather, and the morale of his troops. When the enemy attacked, he simply moved his army to a position where the enemy's strengths were neutralized. He won without fighting. This is the essence of Wu Wei in strategy. In your own life, consider how often you struggle against obstacles that could be avoided. A difficult conversation, a challenging project, what if you approached them with the same fluidity as water? Instead of pushing, you adapt. Instead of resisting, you flow. This is not passive resignation, it's active intelligence. It's the wisdom of knowing when to act and when to wait. The next time you face a problem, ask yourself, what would water do? Would it crash against the rock, or would it find a way around? The answer might surprise you. Let me give you a modern example. A friend of mine was a project manager who constantly faced tight deadlines. He would push his team to work overtime, leading to burnout and mistakes. One day, he decided to try a different approach. Instead of forcing the team to meet an impossible deadline, he communicated with the client and negotiated an extension. He then reorganized the project timeline to align with the team's natural workflow. The result? The project was completed on time, with higher quality and less stress. By flowing around the obstacle instead of crashing into it, he achieved a better outcome. This is Wu Wei in action. So, next time you're stuck, ask yourself, how can I go around this rock? The answer is often simpler than you think. Let's connect this to ancient wisdom. Laozi, in the Tao Te Ching, wrote, "The soft overcomes the hard. The weak overcomes the strong." This is the core of Wu Wei. But it's not just a philosophy, it's a practice. Zhuangzi, the great Taoist storyteller, shared a tale about a butcher. This butcher could carve an ox with perfect precision, never dulling his knife. How? He didn't force the blade through the bone. He found the natural gaps, the spaces between joints. He moved with the ox's structure, not against it. His knife was always sharp because it never met resistance. That's Wu Wei in action. Liezi, another Taoist sage, talked about riding the wind. He didn't struggle to fly, he let the wind carry him. These stories aren't just metaphors, they are instructions. The ancient Taoists knew that our modern obsession with effort is a trap. They saw that life flows in cycles, day and night, seasons, breath. When you align with these cycles, you become unstoppable. So, how do you apply this to your life? Start by observing nature. The bird doesn't plan its migration, it just follows the instinct. The flower doesn't struggle to bloom, it opens when the time is right. You can do the same. For instance, consider the rhythm of your day. Instead of forcing yourself to work through fatigue, take a nap. Instead of pushing through a creative block, go for a walk. By aligning with your natural energy cycles, you achieve more with less effort. The ancient Taoists understood that the universe operates on a principle of harmony. When you are in tune with that harmony, your actions become effortless. It's like a dancer who moves so fluidly that the music seems to flow through them. That dancer is not trying, they are being. And in that state of being, they achieve perfection. So, let go of the need to control. Trust the process. Trust yourself. The wisdom of the ages is here, waiting for you to embrace it. Let me tell you about a farmer in ancient China who practiced Wu Wei. He didn't force his crops to grow, he simply prepared the soil, planted the seeds, and let nature do the rest. He watered them when needed, but he didn't pull on the stems to make them grow faster. His harvest was always abundant. In contrast, a neighbor who tried to force growth by overwatering and over-fertilizing ended up with weak plants that withered. The farmer's approach is a lesson for us all. In our careers, relationships, and personal growth, we must learn to nurture rather than force. Trust that with the right conditions, things will unfold in their own time. This is the essence of Wu Wei. It's not about doing nothing, it's about doing the right thing at the right time, with patience and trust. Let me tell you a story from Zhuangzi. There was a man named Cook Ding, who worked for Lord Wenhui. Ding was a master butcher, and his work was a spectacle. Every movement was fluid, every cut precise. Lord Wenhui asked, "How do you achieve such skill?" Ding replied, "I don't use my eyes, I use my spirit. I don't force the knife, I find the natural spaces." A good butcher changes his knife every year because he cuts muscles. A mediocre butcher changes his knife every month because he hacks bones. But I've used this same knife for 19 years, and it's still as sharp as new. I move through the gaps, never meeting resistance. This story is the ultimate lesson in Wu Wei. You don't need to hack your way through life. You need to find the flow. Think about your own work. How many times do you force a solution when the answer is already there? How often do you push through obstacles when you could go around them? Cook Ding didn't fight the ox, he danced with it. And that dance is what makes Wu Wei so powerful. It's not about doing nothing, it's about doing the right thing at the right time, with zero wasted effort. So, next time you're stuck, ask yourself, am I cutting bones or am I finding the gaps? Let me give you a modern example. A software developer was struggling with a bug that had stumped his team for days. He tried everything, debugging tools, code reviews, even all-nighters. Finally, he stepped away. He went for a walk, cleared his mind, and suddenly the solution appeared. He had been so focused on forcing the fix that he missed the obvious. By letting go, he found the gap. This is Cook Ding's wisdom in action. In your own life, whether it's a relationship, a career decision, or a creative project, remember the butcher. Don't hack at the bones. Find the spaces in between. That's where the magic happens. I recall another story about a musician who was learning a complex piece. He practiced for hours, but his fingers kept stumbling. Frustrated, he stopped playing and went for a walk. As he listened to the birdsong, he realized that the rhythm of the piece was similar to the natural cadence of the birds. He returned to his instrument and played the piece effortlessly, as if the music was flowing through him. He had been trying too hard to control every note, but when he let go and allowed the music to flow, he achieved perfection. This is the lesson of Cook Ding. In everything you do, look for the natural rhythm. Whether it's work, art, or relationships, the path of least resistance is often the most effective. Trust your intuition, and let the spirit guide your actions. Now, let's bring this into the modern world. You're sitting at a computer, drowning in emails. Your instinct is to push harder, work longer, multitask. But that's the opposite of Wu Wei. Instead, try this, set an intention for your day, then let go. Don't force outcomes. For example, when you write an email, don't struggle to find the perfect words. Just start typing, and let the words flow. When you're in a meeting, don't try to control the conversation. Listen deeply, and respond naturally. This isn't passive, it's active surrender. Liezi said, "The perfect man uses his mind like a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing. It receives but does not keep." In practical terms, this means you don't cling to results. You do your best, then release attachment. This reduces anxiety and opens space for creativity. Another modern application, the Pomodoro technique, works because it mimics natural rhythms, work in bursts, then rest. But Wu Wei goes deeper. It's about aligning your entire life with flow. Start your day with a quiet moment. Ask yourself, what would effortless action look like right now? Then, trust the answer. You'll find that you get more done in less time, with less stress. The key is to stop fighting the current and start swimming with it. Consider the example of a successful entrepreneur who attributes his success to daily meditation. He says that by emptying his mind each morning, he allows creative ideas to surface naturally. He doesn't force innovation, he creates the conditions for it to emerge. This is Wu Wei in business. In your personal life, try applying this to your relationships. Instead of trying to control how others perceive you, simply be present. Listen without judgment. Respond without agenda. You'll find that connections deepen effortlessly. The ancient Taoists knew that the greatest achievements come not from striving but from being. So, embrace the mirror-like mind. Reflect the world without clinging to it. This is the path to true productivity and peace. Let me share a practical exercise. For the next week, try this. Before you start any task, take 3 deep breaths. Set an intention for what you want to accomplish, but don't attach to the outcome. As you work, notice when you start to force or strain. When you feel tension, pause, breathe, and relax. See if you can complete the task with a sense of ease. You might find that you work faster and more creatively. This is the power of Wu Wei in daily life. It's not about being passive, it's about being present and responsive. The mirror reflects without distortion. Your mind can do the same. So, the next time you're overwhelmed, remember the mirror. Let the thoughts come and go. Don't hold on to them. Just reflect. In that reflection, you'll find clarity and peace. So, here's the MIC drop insight: doing nothing is the most productive thing you can do. But not the nothing of laziness, the nothing of Wu Wei. It's the nothing of a river that carves mountains. The nothing of a seed that becomes a tree. The nothing of a breath that fills your lungs without effort. Laozi said, "The Tao is empty, yet inexhaustible." You don't need to chase success, you need to let it find you. When you stop trying to control everything, you gain control over what matters. When you stop forcing, you become unstoppable. So, here's your challenge: for the next 24 hours, practice Wu Wei. Don't force a single task. Let life flow. See what happens. You might just discover that the greatest productivity hack isn't a hack at all, it's a return to your true nature. The ancient Taoists knew this. Now you do too. The only question is, will you let go? Let me leave you with a final story. There was a monk who spent years trying to achieve enlightenment through intense meditation and discipline. He grew frustrated and exhausted. One day, he gave up. He sat under a tree and did nothing. And in that moment of complete surrender, enlightenment came to him. He realized that he had been searching for something that was already there. This is the paradox of Wu Wei. The more you seek, the more it eludes you. But when you stop seeking, it finds you. So, take a deep breath. Let go of your to-do lists, your goals, your ambitions, just for a moment. Trust that the universe has a plan. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. And as you relax into this trust, you will find that everything you need comes to you with effortless grace. This is the secret of the Tao. This is the power of doing nothing. Namaste. I want to leave you with one more thought. In a world that glorifies busyness, choosing to do nothing is an act of rebellion. It's a declaration that you are not a machine, but a human being. It's an invitation to reconnect with the natural rhythms of life. So, the next time you feel the pressure to do more, remember the river, the butcher, the monk. Remember that the greatest achievements often come from a place of stillness. Embrace the nothing. Let it transform you. And as you go about your day, carry this wisdom with you. Let it guide your actions, your decisions, your relationships. In doing so, you will not only become more productive, but also more peaceful, more joyful, and more alive. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May the Tao be with you.